Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
For our training and let's up, you might have received the course content, what all we'll be discussing during our 10 hours of course. That's not strictly restricted to 10 hours. You can stretch it up to even 12, 14, 15 or 16, whatever you want. But for that, you need to go and do your homework. Work, just if I'll be speaking, it will be done in 8 to 9 hours. Now about the implementation methodology. Basically, in Workday, we have a special certification we call as a launch certificate. That course or delivered by Workday, that particular certification will let. What are the phases of implementation? Those as be discussing once we finish up, not the main thing. Yep. Currently, since you said you were into application maintenance support project till now production support. Anything, any specific module you were working on or just all of the modules? Not all of the modules. It was not till now. I was working till Feb only. It was with core HCM I was supporting and then here at a small time and absence. Time tracking absence, not completely into it, but I was supporting. Few tickets of them, certain tickets figured specifically on time tracking absence. I used to work on them, but mostly into Exim for it. In code Exim you might be heard about. Compensation, yes, but the tickets, mostly that related to the BPs and all. That but less of the compensation payroll side. The lesson that just I'm saying you might have heard the other models compensation, benefits and every model they have a configuration put into system. Or definition comes with the name as a plan. When you say compensation plan, that will be defined range of compensation. If certain grade B, if your company is graded as B1, B2, B3 or C1, C2, C3. If someone comes and gets hired on a grade of B1, then what should be the salary range for him, those things, and if that particular compensation plan. What are the benefits will be included if I talk about Indian employee? We have here a base salary, a flexible alliance and all what are the a composition plan consists the pay components the same thing. Same way, we have a benefit also, the benefit plan if you are going and enrolling for a health. Insurance are just for dental and generally we do not have dental insurance in most of the companies. Here in India, but we do have a medical insurance. For employee and a spouse in general gets offered by company itself. If you want to enroll you or any other dependent, you will have to pay some premium. For that you define a company benefit plan, you write certain rules, calculation that if you go and include your dependent, then accordingly it will be calculating the TM amount and all. Makes sense? Yes. Same way, in absence, we have a view, time of plan. You just told you attained a ticket from time off and time track. The first time when I joined Workday team, then I came to know absence is also called as time off. We call absence as time off as specifically in Workday, all the plans are configured as a time of plans itself. All the absence types are configured as a time of type itself. Oh, sorry, my God. Here are time of plan. Maybe I'll pick something what I have discussed in earlier matches, just to explain you what are the components we have in time of plan. You can call it as absence plan, time of plan. Not a leaf. Leaf is a different thing. Before we start and go or discussing this absence component and all, we have in Workday two types of absence. There are 2 in 2. Circumstances people go away from work, one is absence that they call as a time off, and there we have a leave type that you call as a sabbatical leave. Issues in a layman term if I say sabbatical leave. Example, if I give out maternity leave, long-term sickness, disability leave. Those things here in time of the regular time of what people get. Sick leave, annual leave, those things. But they leave if there is any those things now. What are the differences we have? When you go and just, it's important to understand the difference between both when we go and create time off and when we go and create leave plan. These are the generic example I gave: annual leave, vacation, sick leave, these all are time off. But other part, maternity leave, paternity leave, long-term disability, short-term disability. Those are leave types now. Thing is generally the time of such water in duration. Leaves are longer in duration, but it's not that in many organizations. Most of the leave types are configured as a time of plan itself. There is a no restriction. You can allow employee to accrue of manual leave 1000 days or 2000 days or 180 days maternity, but then in general the time of plans are created for shorter duration and leave types are configured to have for a longer duration for short duration. Again, under time of plan, the time offs will be having a recurring accrual on certain frequency. You will be getting a definite amount of accrual if it is based on the number of hours you worked. Then that would be up varying from this, maybe from this week or this frequency to next. But if you are a salaried employee, for you, the things will be same, working hour and all, everything is same. For every day, every month, for you, accrual will also be same. Let's say my company gives annual leave of 1.5 days every month. My previous company used to give 1.25 days something, or maybe 0.75 days on every fortnight basis. 0.5. Actually, that was a 1.5 itself. If I club monthly balance, but the frequency was different. Now, every time a plan will be having accrual, that will be getting accrued on a specified recording basis that leave type will not be having. However, the leave type will also be having entitlement maternity leave. You can avail for 180 days paid maternity leave. There are circumstances. Female employee going stretch beyond 180 days in that type, either they are companies allow them to or half pay leave. Half pay leave in the sense you will have to work because kid is a small. A mother need to take care. They can work for half a day, but they will be getting a pay for full day. Daily you have to connect just for 4 hours if you are entitled to okay that. In leave type also you have a certain entitlement. For short-term disability, you can go for 30 days if you want to take more rest, or maybe or doctor prescribed to. Go for a bed rest for a longer duration, go and switch it to long-term disability. They also have entitlement, but not much control. Here you have of either you define here a pre-ed schedule basically. On every pre-ed schedule, the defined accrual will be given. If you see UK annual leave, that's 25 days every year for all the employee. For all the regular employee, it's 25 days every year. Now they have other leave. Maybe they have a long service leave as long service leave or seniority leave. People call by a different name. Seniority leave, they get 5 days of seniority leave every 5th year. Those things. You already have defined frequency. Annual leave, you get 25 days on 1st of January. At that you get upfront of the year and that will be available for throughout the year that we have. In our time of plan, in living in that year, what happens? Accrual balance, if you have 25 days, if you are not utilizing it by 31st of December, that may go and add it clubbed with the next year balance, but that will not be happening in give of absence. Here, if you are getting terminated in mid of the period, mid of the year, or let's say 25 days, I'll be mostly discussing considering the UC itself. Let's say an UK employee gets terminated in month of June or April and just it used, or you can say have not realized even a single day. All 25 days has left and kept as it is. What amount should be paid to them in a form of compensation? Maybe if he is living at exactly half of the way, then 12.5 days. For that again we have a calculation that prorates it automatically. You have to take care of this here once employee gets dominated. Will this be compensated in form of gas for leave type? You don't no need to do that. Now technically if we talk, when somebody goes and requests time off, a single business process calls out and that is named as a request time off. The option you get as a enter time off or request absence. But the business process that runs behind, that is named as a request time off. You need not to return some. Let's say if you are going tomorrow, you are taking a casual leave or an early plate. Maybe you'll be informing your supervisor and going and booking in your Workday system tomorrow. You will be on leave day after tomorrow. You'll be back to work. There is a no additional business process should be initiated to bring you back from time off. That's required in case of leave. If you are going on some leave, then request leave of absence will be initiated. When you are coming back, then return from it. Request return from leave of absence. Business process will be executed in the entire leave cycle. There will be 2 business process executed for sending you on leave in case of time off. Just 1 business process is required, making sense. If an employee takes our time off, we need not initiate that request. Return from leave of absence, automatically the employee will be active once he's back, once he's done with his time. If he's applied for 2 days, from the 3rd day, the employee will be active. But for LA, we need to request return from leave of absence. That from that day onwards, the employee will be shown as active. If not, the person will be on leave. You might have seen people with her in parentheses. Let's say your name will be suffixed with on leave. Yes, that's again a configuration. Turn on leave types. If you make that in general, in most of the cases, organizations show that people will also know I'm trying to reach you and you are on leave. Then there is a new use of doing any transaction for you. Just to make you clear, I'm repeating. For requesting time off, there is a separate business process called as request time off for requesting it. For requesting leave, there is a great business process called as a request leave of absence for bringing back request return from leave of absence. The leave is called as the leave types are called as leave of absence, generic absence, time offs are called as a timer. Just time off, these are the major difference. First difference, time off will be shorter in nature, leave will be longer in duration. Second is here will be a specific defined frequency on what a certain amount or of balance will be added in worker's leave. Balance in leave. A plan that will not be there. Leave plan, when I say leave type, leave of absence. Here if someone gets terminated as per policy, it's not mandatory thing. Let's say sick leave. If employer gets terminated, that did not get paid off in most of the cases. Sick leave did not get paid off or anything up. If you have some CSR leave, you can go and contribute some activity to society, and for that your organization gives you 10 days or maybe 5 days every year. If you are leaving for that, you will not be getting any compensation for sure. But if you have left with your PTO, vacation and leave, all are the naming convention of same sort of time off. If you are leaving, you get paid off some compensation. There are certain limits and we do generally people get for 30 days or however it is allowed. That configuration, we learn how do we do and all in the further season. Another one, the last stuff, sending anybody on time off, you just need to execute request time off. But if someone wants to go and leave, you need to execute request leave of absence, and when it comes back you need to request return request. Return from leave both uses separate business process. Definition for absence, time off, for time off and for leave of absence, the business process is named as a leave. Absence makes it. Now let's just start discussing the time off in most of the session, most of the time be spending if it is going for a 10 hours, 8 hours or 7 hours will be discussing time off. 2 or 3 hours will be discussing this, 70 to 80%. Be spending discussing, leave it a time of itself. I have one question here. Generally when we talk about leaves in USA, They have medical leave, family, FMLA and military. Union leave, all these do, they come under. AO is on the time off. Time off FMLA. FMLA and all they have in very few clients. I see they have configured as time off, but in most of the cases, FMLA and all medical leave. Family leave of family, what you say those? All are LA leave of absence. This was customer to customer. And this military leave. These also will come under military leave. All these come under LOIs. I was working for one client where they had these different types of leaves. I was working on converting that data from PeopleSoft to the Workday data conversion. At that time, and those are specific only to USA, the FMA types and all of these are specific to the countries. Specific to countries? But what you are talking, that's a specific to USA, got it? I have done from, I guess from all the regions, then the implementation. I have implemented close to like 70 plus customers, including medium is small and large. Yes, also, let's continue discussing the time of plan. The time of plan, I did not to go and say, hey, this is name, this is display name category and all, but again I'll do the formula. A T because I have to reach 8 hours or 10. I'll go and just edit that all. The fields will be visible to you and what all will be available for you, editing or not. I'm just editing this plan. This absence type or timer plan is effective dated. However, the leaf types are not effective, data till dative, but if you are walked under time tracking, then you might have observed the time tracking was not effective, dated till current release. Till previous release, it was not effective. Dated from this release, it is effective data currently. If you are using a time entry, templates, calculations, all are effective data. Previously, they were not all the same way. They might have planned bringing effective date in leave configuration, but as of now, it's not there. I have, that's only for time offs, but not for leaves. This is time of plan. Here you give a name, display name. Basically, it will be available or displayed on worker's profile. Parallelly, I will open one employee to show you up how does it looks. You are available for how many hours today? I mean, it depends upon your time. I'm fine for 1 hour, 2 hours. I don't have any issues. I can just take the class. This is the employee. She is based out in India. You should be having eligibility, fraud or this plan. This one, this is the display name. I end the vacation. That's on here. But the plan name is something we easy and risk for and will you that? That's the purpose of display name and name is. This display name, is this what you want to see of being from our technical team? You give a name that you can easily identify UK, India, you. And all the configuration here, you give us a nickname, the case and the PTO and all. Category generally. If you are using payroll, select payroll or it would be automatically selected as per your tenant configuration. Need not to select it, it would be absence and payroll track balance. You have to check. Once you have checked the track balance and created a plan, after creating, it will not be able to uncheck. How you are seeing, now it's grayed out and it's not available for us to uncheck this. However, if you have created some plan which is create unchecked, then during edit you can check. I have not worked till date in my last 9 years of career on any time of plan which was unchecked. A track balance, all of them were track balance checked, and here balance period will be selecting. You have a variety of balance periods. Balance period is basically your, if I say to make you better understanding fiscal year or how we have income tax year here in India starting from a trial 1st and ends on 31st of March. You can see absence plan here or absence here. Absence cycle here. This is current calendar year based on period in the same you will be using for United Kingdom. It starts on January 1st and ends on 31st of December. If you have to get a look, just click this 3 dot. These are Workday on delivered one. You can create your own as but it will not be required. There are multiple and all the options you have. If you go just for taking a look, if you go, just I'm writing while it will appear. You see a current calendar year, current fiscal year, rolling year, current calendar year starting in August and March. If you work starting in April, ending in March, February to January, March to February. There are many more. If you work on France, they follow starting on August and ending in July. You see September to August, you have all the possible options. It will not be able to create, it will not be required to create a new one. It depends on the client, whatever they want, we can just select on the option, whatever it is there. All the options will be. For UK, you will require to choose this. That's the generic. In most of the cases, we use this only. Now you can see. We were discussing balance period. This is decide the balance period. Basically, your absence here. The next, if you go, you have a period schedule that says monthly. The monthly means again, create a schedule monthly. You are picking from a list you have. A monthly, but you are allowed to create your own for in general, monthly month starts from 1 and ends on month end. If it is month ending on 30th, then it will end on 30. If it is 31st, they will end on 31st, then it will end on 30. But if you consider a case Israel and all, they start their month on the 17th and finish. That's the case. And here this training tenant, it will get keep on refreshing because at the same time used by different people, this challenge will face. If you are going and configuring anything by doing a small config, keep saving. Or else you will lose that. Period of schedule a monthly we have picked here. This is a generic one. Discuss this later. What is period of schedule and all? Now the units of time, you have available units. Just 2. You will not be allowed to put any additional or custom units you can. Just provide accrual in month of sorry in form of days or you cannot provide. Accrual in months or hour or seconds or any other. It's that. This is your. Unit of time clear, we have available for days and hours. No custom allowed and you will not be having any option to create any. Here you can put. Let's say if you are giving here a PTO and if you are showing this balance on your payslip, this will be shown as a PTO on your payslip. Let's say the actual name is YGNT annual leave. It's shown on worker profile as IND vacation, but on payslip it will be shown as a PTO diff. You are giving this name here. This you have effective data. Now I have created an edit mode. It is giving me the latest effective data to what I have used. This is effective date. Is this if you want to create? Maybe some. A policy is being changed when you go and edit this time of plan, then you please select a new. Let's say for UK 25 days is annual from next. Here onwards, the UK government is changing the policy and suggested all the organization to accrue 30 days in place of 20 days, but that will be applicable from January 2025 or 25. Here, edit this, add a new. Effective date, and that would be January 2020-25, and select the period. And date from that, it will force you to pick the period schedule started. These all are period schedule. We have picked monthly. These are period schedule. Start date. If you see it's a 1st of every month, either you can pick a 1st of January, 1st of February, availability 1st of December next year. Picked 1st of January. Effective date is clear now. If you come down, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tabs. They start explaining from tab 1 and go till the last one. Balance visibility. Today be discussing, I guess, till this point. It will take up, this person will be taking little time. No worries, wherever you feel boring or maybe if you want me to explain again, I'll be happy to explain multiple times. Sure, balance. Section tells you about the control. It allows you controlling the time of plan. Balance. Here you have balance visibility, how you want to show the balance. Eligible in period based on as of date. Let's say if employee is eligible today, then you show the time of balance of plan balance. Let's say, how will you understand correctly? Let's say, in India, your company operates in Jammu and Kashmir as those. Areas are little, their surviving is little difficult. Generally, if even a government employee are sent there, they get a little extra. Benefit same way, if in this form of absence also, if you want your employee to going there, they will be having a 2 days or 3 days extra. My concern was bringing that point is in India itself you are being transferred from one place or one estate to another, but your balance will be changed. Here you will be staying. Basically, if you transfer to Kashmir, you will be eligible for different plan itself. Let's say Kashmir vacation or anything that. If previously were working in Bangalore or Kolkata, any location from Kolkata, you are being transferred. For Kolkata or all the other regions, you have a single vacation plan called as India. Vacation just for customer. There is a different plan itself called as a customer vacation. In the month of August, you have transferred from Kolkata to Kashmir. Your eligibility has been changed in August period. You have selected a monthly period in August period. You have transferred from that. From Kolkata to another one from September. One words, you are no more eligible for the India vacation plan. You have moved out or to customer. Now if you have selected eligible in period, for India vacation you are not eligible in September. This balance will not be shown your profile on your profile. However, you have selected this eligible in balance period. You are not eligible in month of September, but you were eligible in this balance period. The balance period is started on January 1st, you are in same balance period itself. We select this, then on your profile, India vacation will also be shown and Kashmir vacation will also be shown. Are you getting it that or that? It will be easy for you to utilize your previous balance. These first and second are widely used, eligible in prior period or prior periods based on as of date. Basically the same thing but including a previous period as never balanced. If we select this will not be shown the balance on employee. There are certain leaves, a payment leave. There is a no balance or non-employee profile, but it's there if it is required, then employee can avail it. Here you have a checkbox balance visibility, kill it. On in that the previous periods. One is there, how does that? What does that show? Also a little period or prior writing in balance period. It will be counting to date. You can say year to date, let's say I started on January 1st. They started on January 1st and ending on 31st of December, that was a balance period, entire balance period. But you have relocated to customer in month of August itself. The balance will be visible from January to August, but not from September to December. But in case of if you are selecting first, then the things should come in mind. Then what is the difference between first and this? And the first one, all the balance will be shown till December. The entire balance would be shown till December, but in prior periods only till August would be shown. Now the same thing does this also for the balance visibility. But here generally we use in most of the cases. There are some scheduled balance to come in later months. You have of transferred in month of August itself. But there are some things that will to accrue in month of October or any point of time. Then we use this or else first itself years. Neighborhood balance, the example I gave, or a Thailand business time. They get in Thailand, people get up 3 days of business time. Every year all the employee, but it will not be shown on profile. Whenever they required, they can go and avail. These are the visibility options available. Still, you have time, or maybe during your free time, go ahead, see this and have anything, and we can discuss again. But generally one just final question, if we select on never show balance, then how will they employ? How many leaves there? How many leaves? are eligible for because these all they have specific limits. If you take because these days they're not. If you're saying bereavement, generally they don't count. But in certain companies, they mention bereavement leave is only for 2 days or 3 days. The employee goes for and the employee applies for 5 days leave without knowing that they're having only 3 days balance 3. They're eligible for 3 days. How does that work if the employee doesn't know what is this? That's what. Those part I'll come to know in. When discussing accrual or fine, now on. As a reference, if I say you are, when employee joins, gets onboarded, all the company policies gets explained to them. They must be having an idea, but the thing comes. Yes, let's say in current year how, whether I have used payment or not, if I have used, I used twice. Did I use twice or just once? Those things. Anything used in past that also will not be shown on worker's profile whenever they required, but always you can limit employee on number of days. How will come to know or during accrual. Here we have hide balance from worker self-service. It says just hide for worker. Self-service, but being an absence admin or being other. Employee, maybe manager or anyone if they are going. The balance. Let's say we have selected eligible in balance period. If employee, you are being transferred or just being an ideal on your base location, Kolkata itself, Bangalore itself, then your balance will be there if I check this, but you will not be able to see. However, rest others will be able to say. Rest other. This means based on the security group access. It's not your peer can see or maybe a hierarchy up can see. Here you have a calendar display, plan, and type and just type. Calendar display is when you see absence calendar while booking the time off. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Generally that doesn't get displayed that. how you are seeing the few things. Will be scattered will not be the same in your client system or your own system. Many things will not be working properly. If you go and say request absence, basically it should open up a calendar, and then on left hand side this, if you see on left hand side panel it's loading, it will come. You see, this is basically calendar, and there you see calendar display. It talks about this. You see United States California vacation balance. No eligible time of that. You see if one this, and that will go to our IND vacation. No, I'm accessing another employee. I have logged in as this person. It's not from India. Basically, whatever you select there, just plan and type those. All will be the same way it will be. If you see here, the plan is also shown. The type is also shown. The floating holiday is plan and floating hours is type. Type is basically apps. I'm of type. You have options plans, planning type and type. There we have Sony. They're only able to get the difference in general. In most of the cases, just plan is kept. When you say plan and type, it will be writing in most of the cases. The plan and type names people keep as the same. It will be writing as an annual leave, or maybe an annual leave days, or annual leave hours that. If they have a different name, if not, then it will be repeated. It will be looking the same name. It doesn't look good. Just either go by plan or type. The calendar, the one which you showed, is plan and type. The example, what you showed on the. Here, calendar display decides on your calendar, the left hand side, what text you see for that time of plan. Here you pick override allowed. Let's say if you have unchecked this and at some point of time you want to adjust the balance for anyone, then you will not be able to. You will have to come and check this as override allowed. Then only you will be able to. Here you have balance transfer defaults. In general cases there is nothing, but I will not say nobody configures this. There are a configuration. I have worked for this. Basically, I'll explain how it works balance. Transfer defaults, if you are being transferred from one entity to another in company itself. Let's say you are working in TCS and from TCS India all inside. TCS itself they have, but certain groups, technical, functional or anything. Finance or tech that. If you are moving from TCS Tech to TCS Finance, you will be playing a role of Workday functional itself, but moving from TCS Tech to Finance. Eligibility will be changing. It will be eligible for a different plans. Now, what will be happening to all the plan? Are all the balances kept under the current plan because you are not being terminated? In company, they will feel better if they do not have to compensate that. If they do have an option of they can pay you out because you are starting a new chapter joining. Another entity being from a same family but joining another in most of the cases, their employee ID also gets changed. Same way here, balance transfer defaults means the balance. During transfer, the existing balance will be transferred to any plan. Then you can select. Here the plan name. The balance will be switched from this plan to another. You see, you get an option of selecting the time of plan. You will have to specify here the time of plan name. Let's say you are moving from tech to finance in our example. Then all tech employees who will be moving to finance. Their balance should be transferred to finance. Then here it will be mentioning the finance demo plan. The lower part of this balance is having a heading adds carryover. Carryover means carry forward. What we then, reusing our before Workday, is to say this as a carry forward. How many days are allowed to carry from this year to next year? By 31st of December, if you are left with, all 30 days and 25 days UK employee gets. If they have unutilized by 30th of December, then what amount of balance they are allowed to carry from this too. Next year. For UK, as specific to UK, there will be carrying 5 days and that will be available till 31st. March, let's say 25 days you accrued on January 1st till 31st, it did not use. Out of it, did not use at all. Out of 25 days, just 5 days will be carry. Award and will be available till 31st of March. If you are not using that will also be forfeited, or you can say lapsed. Here this term is called as a carryover, when the carryover will take place. Balance period started in our case, in current example, and in case of UK as its balance period started, that's in our case January 1st. The limit I kept as 10. In case of UK, it would be 5. Actually, the patient company, how many days they want to carry forward. That's the limit. Exact. How many days carry forward, and that carry forwarded amount will be available for throughout the year. It's gonna get expired, it will be piled up, and there is reaching some certain maximum limit, or there is certain limit, the carryover. Amount should be utilized till March or maybe till half of the year. If not, then you will be losing those balance the same. Here you have limit the quantity 10, 5, 10, 20, 100 that. Here you have time. You need to mention 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever and unit of time you are. Basically monthly, month days. If you see the options available, month end. Days you have either you can select month and or this. Here you have also to checkbox. These were not previously available from last. 2 to 3 release include carry over in timer plan balance upper limit. Calculation basically. A daily timer plan. Every timer plan will be having a limit you. People can accumulate the PTO balance but not more than 20 do you. Want to consider this 10 days as in that limit calculation. If you want, then check this or else no. By default, first carryover will be utilized, then it will be going to accrual. Let's say UK employee will consider 5 days has been carried forwarded and that will be added up to 2025. if employee is utilizing 7 days of balance in the month of January. Itself, first 5 days carryover will be consumed and the 2 days will be taken from annual leave. That's the time of accrual is not carry your balance naturally. First carryover will be consumed, then regular accrual. But if you want first exhaust the timer, that's basically sounds first time of accrual will be used, then carry over balance. If you want such configuration, then you check this. Can you explain that to the carrier? And time of plan balance upper limit calculation. Here, if you go to the next tab, you define a limit. For this limit, we have 30. In India, you can accumulate maximum 30 days of time of balance. In most of the companies, you can accumulate 30 days of time of balance. Now, if you say and every year you get also 30 days of time, just in case I'm saying you also added 30 days of time of balance, by year start you have carry forwarded. $10 days from last year and again you got a fresh 30 days. Total adds up to it will be not exceeding, or in general what happens if we do not check that. Then 30 days accrual is kept aside. You are allowed to take carryover separately. Soon if have 40 days I cannot. If this box is checked out, then I can apply 10 days separately and 30 days separately. But if it's not checked out, I can apply 40 days at a time. Is that? No, upper limit says it's 30 itself. But if my year is start, you came up with 40 days, 10 from last year and 30 from current. Here your time of plan limit says it cannot exceed 30 days, but you have 40 days. Susan, but 40 days, if you say 40 is how you are having 40 days. 30 days you have time of balance, but 10 days you have carry over from last year. If you do not check this, that carry over balance will not be included in limit. But if we check this, then always that will be taken under. Calculation. Let's say if it is a monthly accrual and you have carried or 10 days from last year, isn't it? And only yet is 30 by June itself you have reached 30. Days from July onwards you will stop occurring the days. Makes sense. No, I understood, I got it. Yep, first tab is almost clear. Yes. Here you have calculation. First is accrual frequency method. When you want to accrue the accrual either start of the period, end of the period or any custom date, you have end, start or custom frequency, which means when the balance should be added to the time off. That's your generally custom frequencies. Do we have to define it? In some other place, because start of the period I understand with once the period is starting. We add the balance end of the period at end of the period. For the month also, it will be adding, but what is this custom frequency do we? We define it somewhere else or we define it here itself. Custom frequencies, let's say you want. If you just select this, you see. This fields appeared previously, it were not there. Let's say first when employee gets hired, you give the accrual on. Had it after that to repeat the accrual on every 12 months, or if this is a monthly accrual, then 30 days makes sense. These basically. Work for this anniversary, lease or birthday is kind of one. The UK example, if we say there I have worked I hope or 3 customers, 2 of them had seniority leave, third did not have. I will not say it's a hard and fast, but you can say that. First is when they are reaching the anniversary, and after that every 50 year that. Generally in regular cases. You see, this is start and end of the period itself. Even if in India we talk, the certain companies, they give this paid leave. One accrual, one in every month or 1.25 every month. In that case also we can add, we can just have a custom frequency, 125 being add every month generally. If you want, it's complicated thing. But if you want to, we can do that. Custom frequency adding 1.5 every month, 1.5 PL every month. Month in the sense. Here it says a start and end. You want to give in a start of the month or end of the month. It says the start of the period, end of the period. Period defines as a period schedule. What you have selected as monthly. There are available for UK of what we were discussing. For that the period schedule is annual. They do not have anything. Calculation based on their monthly and all and will they give. And annually they calculate. Time of plan, lower limit here if you define anything. In most of the cases we. Give as a 0 or minus tenders. Generally currently my company allows you. Try to go minus 10 days if I do not. Let's say I'm sorry, I just got hired. And I started working but I need to go on PTO. My balance is just a day. Or 2 but they still. I will be able to go to 12 days of PTO or that beyond. If I'm getting beyond 12 days, then I'll be losing my pay and it would be unpaid leave till that. Till minus 10, there will be no one pay. Loss. In that case, in my situation, if I say here I need to mention minus 10. In generally, we select a 0 for UK as we selected 0. But one question here, this general question, if you give us minus 10 or something and the employee doesn't have any balance, how do they detect that balance? In this upcoming, it will go till minus 10. The same, it's a real time scenario. I started with my current employer or 2 years. Back when I started, there was a marriage in my family. I had to go on. PTO for 3 weeks of PTO come. Just I was having or 3. 4 days of balance. I went and it took me 2 again came in. Coming positive number of days. They took a long time. All my forthcoming month. They were getting compensated, but there were no loss on my pay. That sounds. This calculation also be doing it somewhere. How does minus 10 will be? Adjusting in the forthcoming ones or it will be automatically done. Here you are allowing 10. That's done. The absence I done. Now it's on our payroll side what I said payroll and all O. Here the absence where you are mentioning, then you are all done. Here you have a mentioned upper limit, these all calculation thing. Will are defined to work under this balance picture. It what all limit lower upper you are putting, they all are applicable for that duration. Here a minus 10 means you allow employee to go on negative 10 days of balance, here upper limit. You are not allowing people to accumulate more than 30 days under this. If you do not output, they can go any number of days negative. Here you have daily default quantity. Basically if you go and request the leave, then how? Let's say I'll go on this employee. If you go and request the quantity, is there any number that gets populated automatically? Let's say if I'm going and hold on. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you go and request absence, and let's say by selecting any date and any absence, thank you. You see, that's a huge error. I have requested a just of our 18th of number and it is being requested for 86 hours. That's basically, if we go and see here, the quantity per day comes automatically came. That's the default quantity. The default quantity for this time of type is not correctly mentioned. If you go and check here, what it is. Scheduled hours for target frequency as a period and date. Schedule hour for target frequency. What is the frequency they have? They have by semi-monthly frequency, it's a wrong. Configuration made the person who wanted to make it. Basically, it's should be scheduled daily hour. Oh, if you are scheduled to work 7.5, then for you it should be 7.5. If I work 8 hours daily, when I go and request, then 7.5 or 8 should come as a default quantity, but for this person it comes 86 for entire semi-monthly half of the month that this employee is entitled to work. This is that's coming up. In our case, in our example, what we were discussing we have mentioned as 1. If you want to request this IND vacation, by default, 1 day per quantity will be going there. If you want to edit 0.5. Daily, if you want to today have requested and just 1 hour timer for half a day, you edit it back to 0.5. And why? A days to include, yes please. If the daily quantity are mentioning it as 1, can an employee request for a half day leave or he has to request for 1 day? Even the quantity is 1, we can request for half daily. This is default. It's not saying that. Daily default quantity, it's defaulted. You are allowed to go and edit it. Understood. If I want to make 7.5, go ahead and do it. Understood, now understood. That's it now. Additional further validation is working here will not be resolving that. That's the daily default quantity by default daily. How? Many hours you should take or maybe or for you, I believe you work 37.5 weekly daily. 7.5 for you when you go and request. 7.5 should be popping up there. Understood. Here Indian employees follows days same for UK. If they go and book off annually, 1 day should be defaulted there and they can edit it back to half a day. Days to include. Let's say if you in a rows, while booking in the time off you have selected. Starting from 1st until 15th, in middle 2nd and 3rd is weekend, and again 16th and 17th is with weekend from our 2nd from 1st till 15th. There are 2 weekends, 2nd and 3rd, and 9th and 10th 4 days. For those 4 days, there should not be any balance deduction from your balance. You will be selecting Workday, non-holidays. You have other options. Weekdays Monday to Friday, all days work days. Worker exceeding holiday hours. Configure work days to include. If you select all day, it doesn't matter whether it's Sunday, Saturday, deduct balance for all the days we can. If it is Monday to Friday, it will not be considering. Let's say on Thursday it's a public holiday. Then also it will be deducting the balance for public holiday. We prefer to select this workday non-holiday that it excludes the weekend also and any holiday schedule that also workday work hours exceeding holiday hours. It just includes. Let's say today you are scheduled to work 7.5 hours, but you are working 9 hours. Those days all only it will be allowing you. Now most of the things to IL time in leave compensatory time off. When we configure those things in those time, we select this. In general, they will be configured. Always you will be considering they are picking up either 1st or 3rd. All of 3 from top. Configure days to include. It gives you an option to configure day by your choice. You allow employee to deduct the balance only when they accrue on Monday. They request on Monday. Here you can include the days. The days will be displayed from week Monday, Tuesday, Friday. There is no option to create an 8th day by your choice. There are 7 days itself. You are allowed. I'll remove this. One doubt is time of plan balance upper limit. The lower limit, we don't have the balance, we can take an extra, whatever the amount we mentioned there. But what about the upper limit, which means I have 40 days, but still I can go. Only up I can take only to 30 days. It's not about taking, it's about if you're all the. If you consider the case, what we discussed and a carryover, you are allowed to take 40 days. However unlimited, it's mentioned just that it is. It says the accumulation of time of balance under this plan. You cannot, your balance will not be shown on 34 days under this plan. Any amount goes beyond 30 will be shown as a forfeited. If the balance came but you lost. Upper limit means straight, it's a straight English. Upper limit means upper limit. You cannot have more than 30 days balance under this plan. You are also, if you have balance that many days, you will be able to avail a request. The first thing are days to include, and this one are the same thing, restrict request to days to include on calendar. Basically, when you go thank you. Here, if we have kept it unchecked, this calendar will be displaying a normal. Calendar, how you see these calendars available in your mobile phone, in your laptop and your notepad. But if you want the calendar to be displayed only with weekdays, it will be selecting request 2 days to include the calendar. Display. Here we have selected Workday, non-holiday now on your calendar only. Those days will be shown. Sind of October, Gandhi Jayanti will not be on your calendar. This calendar you see in background. That will not be on your calendar. Understood. This is the first two tabs. Any concerns, issues, doubts you have? No, for now I'm good. Anything, I want you to repeat it. No, for now I understood, I'm fine. Herein, if you come in our timer plan, there are two things. One is accrual. Another time off. Accrual adds the balance, time off subtracts the balance. If you technically see the configuration of accrual, here you Create the configuration to add the balance on the frequency defined. The time off you configure to subtract the balance from your accumulated amount. Here you have created in the vacation time off and payout. Payout will be if you go and check the payout. Time off is for termination adjustment. Basically, when people get terminated, then this payout, all the let's say by month of September, I'm being terminated and I was left with 30 days of balance or 23 days off. But those all 3 days will be paid out in month of September, and if you go in background and check the time of type for that 23 days of time of payment, there you will see it's paid as a IND vacation, time of payout. That's how it means. If you see the time off, you can list a number of time offs under this. But in general, we have just 2 or 3. In some cases, a country Canada, you have the state wise or the plan also and the time of salt. For Alberta, different. For Calgary, different. For whatever the state cities you have. The policies are very state wise and all. Here UK, they have again a common policy, and what you see here, the same. Set of configuration. I'll be seeing and you have to do for UK time off and another as a payout, and the payout should be mentioned as a termination. Now this way out will also be restricted to terminated employee. When I say should be, then that is a recommended setting. It's not when you're going and opening it for all the employees, someone comes and holds your hand. That's a recommended setting. Payout by naming convention. It says payout, and this naming convention you give, you go and type on your keyboard and you give. It's not a pops out from default or anything. It's a similar time off configured. It just named, the first one named as a time off and this named as a payout, and the same payout is mentioned here. When I mentioned here, then this part of this page has a significance. In termination business process, there is a automated service included adjust time of balance, it seems. I guess the name is. When termination gets successfully completed, automatically the left upper balance gets paid out when you are mentioning any time of type here, and that service is added as a process of termination. Here you mention all the time offs, what will be available for employees if somebody goes and requests time of vacation time off for 3 days. That 3 days should be deducting from this time of plan for that particular employee, not from the other one. Time off cannot be attached to multiple or timer plan, and it's a vice versa. One time off cannot be attached to no, it's not. Vice versa, one time off cannot be attached to multiple time off plans, but in a one plan you can have multiple. One plan can have multiple time offs, but one time off can be different to a single plan. You walked on time tracking. How comfortable are you with priority? I understand. Whenever we do any calculations, what hours should be deducted first, they'll be given the least priority. And then the regular ones will be given the higher numbers. The same way, time off and accrual also comes with priority. What understanding you have? That's absolutely perfect. And apply to time off as That rarely gets used, but it's mandatory to give you while configuring. That happens. Let's say there are by coincidence an employee is eligible for 2 accrual which are available in the same plan at a time. If let's say there is a time of plan created for Canada and a separate under that there are multiple accrual has been configured for other states in Canadian states itself. But if somebody is not from any of the state, there is a common accrual as if someone from Alberta and he gets eligible for both of them, Alberta and the common accrual. In both of them, if some of the accrual is having the higher priority, will be given first and then the lower will. But I have never encountered that scenario till date. But the configuration says that and priority is there. You have to mention all the time of you create and in all the accrual you create here again. It comes with name code. Both should be unique. Category what you have given on your plan, the time of type. It's just your time calculation tag. I'm not correlate miss, just I'm correlating. I'm not trying to confuse you this time. Calculation tag it. Doesn't have any priority, but if you go and open it, it looks your review. See, this is how the calculation tag looks. There is no other option, just name. And ID how many places. It has been used when you, if you remember, on 1st of base, the time of plan, we have a visibility option, plan and type. When we select plan and type, then in our case, IND vacation. If you have selected plan and type, then plan display name was IND vacation and the type name is vacation. If you selected plan and type, then on calendar, it would be shown IN the vacation and vacation days both. This is type. When an employee goes to apply for time off, the person would be seeing this time off type on the profiler vacation. Days, or you'll be seeing that the Indian vacation time off, they'll say this vacation days. Under drop down, they'll have to pick vacation days. Here you have or make priority. I already told you. Shall I go in edit mode? I think that would be. Thank you. I'll come on this cell time off and all are generally will not be used for you, but nowadays it's available for a few of the countries and customers. If you enable people, you and know if you have accumulated some balance and you can sell your balance and get a money in your account. And for that, as again a new time of you will have to create, and if we check this as a sale time off allowed, this name will be sale time off that. Priority adjustment allowed. If we give the adjustment can be allowed under this time off. Hide worker from sale service. Now, if you remember the same configuration, this to adjustment allowed. There it was override allowed. Here we have adjustment allowed, and same since override allowed was available on a plan. Now we have on time hours. If we are not selecting, that will be followed up by time of plan. If we are selecting, let's say on time of plan, this is a specific to this time of, that was a plan under a timer plan. You can have a 3 or 4 time off, but whatever the things you will be marking here will be applicable just for this time off. For some reason, if you are doing here, this will hide from worker self-service. Just this time of plan, not the other time of plan kept under this plan. Time calculation tag if you want to give, if you are giving any. When worker is going and requesting this plan, there should be a specific tag on your time calendar. When you go, you might have noticed, if worker goes and enters time, you will see vacation showing up on there, maybe a vacation, or if there is any holiday, comes on their time into calendar, for this is specific time if you want. To I in the vacation or anything, you can create that tag and attach it. The entry option, you have available 3. One is commonly it's named as Tato Toto. Time entry through time off and time entry through time tracking, or both. It is generally the tenant 1, 2, 3, but here we have 4 and I guess there are more. Just 1, 2, 3 will be available. Display start date and time. When we check this, whenever you enter time, it will ask you to start and end time. When you go and request, it will be asking start and end time. This time calculation tag, generally they do use it, or is it depends on certain clients. Here you were saying time calculation tag. It's a difference if it is required. For your customer or organization, then you put or else no. Generally people put that tags, or is it only specific? I'll give you a scenario. Let's say if you are working on vacation center, or maybe you have booked for a flexible time off and on that working. There is no extra compensation given or anything, but you have booked vacation, but some requirement came and you were asked to work on that date. Then for that particular day, the same amount of hours would be compensated as a compensatory time or TL date. Let's say if it is a vacation, you need to perform that sort of calculation. If it is vacation and you worked on that day. When it is vacation, this tag will be shown on your time entry calendar. And you worked on that day. Then you entered some hour. If the time entry on calendar time calculation tag popped as a IND vacation and total number of hour is more than 0, create a comp timer wall. There is a time calculation tag called time create block that will be generating a specific tag named as a comp time or compensatory time that on vacation you are asked to work in. For that, your company is giving your compensatory time. Because already you were off and you worked. Understood? This is clear, and then the start time is clear to you. Validation. Here already you have all the delivered one. You will not be able to put the custom one. If you want to have any, there is no option of adding the custom one. We have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, total 8. A validation you can put. If you see by name, it says consecutive day maximum in A. Row, how many days you can go on this time off? I defined as 10 maximum. 10 days. You will be able to go under this time off if you want to 11 day it. Will not allow, it will break, and then you got now same, you have consecutive day. Minimum maximum, you also have consecutive day minimum. You can request just minimum 1 day. That's a no use of this in some cases. Marriage leave cannot be taken lesser than 5 days. Or maybe lesser than 3 days that. In those cases it will be useful. Here just for demo purpose has been added. Increments is included as half a day. Let's say if you were talking about, you said default is mentioned as yes. As 1, whether I will be able to request half a day or not. You will be able to if it is increments is allowed as 0.5. If increment is allowed as 1, then it will not be. Increments means it doesn't say just increment. It also talks about decrement. If it says 0.5, you can say it's a. If I give a better name, it's a multiplier. You can request any number of days main. Multiplier of this 0.5. Either you can request 0.5 1 day, 1.5 2. But 1.5 and 2 you will not be able to because there are further. Validation. There is a validation, a maximum. It says again you can give a number if you are allowing people to sell time off. If people can book, people can. Book or 10 days of sell time off on a single day. For that a maximum here. In case of vacation, I will not be able, it's not going. Good if I am going today on vacation and for that 5 days is taken out from my vacation balance. Rate, for that there is a if someone puts by mistake. Also there is a validation that will be stopping him putting a 5 days of request on a single day. Maximum it says 1 all time of entries. For worker for the same day, including all the time of entries on same date. Worker, all including. All it should be 1 day. It's a day based time off. It is, you are seeing 111. If it is your Canada time off, then it would be 7 and a half, 7.5, 7.5 same. In case of USA, it would be 8. And 8 and 8 because their time offs and all are early based. Is here you have maximum time on pay time of allowed. Generally it's 0. In our case it was minus 10 days. The minus maximum unpaid means you allow employee not to take negative days when you say 0. If you are allowing employee to take minus 5 days, you mention here minus 5 if you allow employee to take minus 10. This I mentioned here minus 10. This makes sense. No, but I have one question here earlier that we mentioned for the plan. When we mention us minus 10, those will be the paid days about 10 they will go as loss of pay. Here it is mentioned unpaid days. Will they get pay for 1 or will they not get pay for this one? Here it is mentioned as unpaid time of units allowed. Oh general, that was again incorrect. If you want, just you are allowing people to take a negative show of 10. Days you just write 10, not minus. Issue entering minus, then minus it to act as a plus. If someone is having 10 days balance, still will not be able to request this timer plan override. I'll not discuss now. Discuss later. Reasons are this time of plan override available all. The rules configuration you made on your timer plan here. Workday gives you an option to override that elite rules limits and all here for this time off. Here you have reason. You get an option of configuring the reason. If you are going for vacation, is there any specific reason? Generally people configured in sick leave. But again, just to demo, I have configured it, a reason you can allow. And there is an option of checking it required. You can make a required field for worker when they go and request time off. If you do not make it required, then it will not be a required field. If they do not select any region, then also it will not be throwing any error. Here the reasons we would be based on whatever reasons we get. We can just give them here. What are the reasons you have to give an option to employ? You just come and list here and walk tag or in time to calculation in. Time tracking. Have you ever worked on walk tag? I heard about the work tags of this call center and all that. Yes, exactly, call center location. If I talk specifically, California meal break penalty. Are you aware of this? Yes, if they don't get that meal break, half an hour meal break for 5 or something, though they'll be paid some for their base. Based on the base, exactly a work tag there in time tracking. It gives an option of tracking the additional information. Same here, if you want to track some additional information, you are taking requesting time of vacation, they will. Given as a location generally or people from sales team, they will be working from different location. Maybe some of them will be assigned to or different position also in that from what position you are, for which position you are requesting the time off and all. But in general, do you use the work tags? No, I have not used under time off. I under time calculation. I used a lot here. I mean generally in absence. I'm not telling me. Oh no, I did not. Cell option. Cell option is available when you allow or cell you have to enable. It's not enabled in your tenants, it's grayed out. If it is enabled, then it will be available. Just the configuration by name, it says available. To sell during fixed period, you allow employee to sell the time off, but only after June 30th, or if you select any, then if then sell schedule. Miss, you said your letter. On what schedule it will be allowed to for? Selling maximum limit to sell in one go. How many are not in one go in total? In certain balance period, how many, let's say if you have accumulated 30 days, you should not be selling all of them. There is certain limit you are allowed. How to sell 5 days in a balance period? That maximum limit. What you have putting here will be applied in what? balance period or period in which balance is updated. You have a to radio button available for it. That's it. Users will be available in all of the configuration that tells you this configuration in is used where. Here it gives the time of plan names. By this, end up today our session. If you have any concern, doubt, we can discuss. We have more. 7 minutes. Sell option generally. What kind of leaves do they enable it for? Is it for vacation mostly? Vacation only but a comp time? I recently worked on a time of plan configuration for surgery land if they walk over time in a year more than 70. Then those will be equivalent amounts should be coming as a compensatory time. Workday, when they have compensated compensatory time, balance goes beyond 20 days. The time of the additional whatever comp time, they have 20 plus hours. Those hours are allowed to sell off and they can get the money in their back account. In those cases. Understood now? In such scenarios, when we're creating a compensatorly, create a compensator time of and then a compensator time of sell to separate. Be creating in that one plan. Got it. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.